What's going on? It's Kilo. We are back for another episode of the regular podcast on the regular network.
It's real.
And what's his name again? Kilo?
Shout out my Kilo, man. Kilo in the mother building.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling? Is everybody okay? Did everybody have a good week? Before we do anything else, please make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment your thoughts below. Make sure you share this video. If you agree with what I said, take a little screenshot. If you disagree with what I said, take a little screen grab. Post it up on your social medias. Tell everybody how stupid you think I am. That's cool with me. I don't care. We're just trying to get the word out there. Just make sure you don't crop out the logo in the top right corner. Okay. How's everybody's week been? My week has been cool. Cool. It's been busy, very busy. It's the beginning of the month right now. So in my world, beginning of the month means it's the month close for the previous month for accounting. I'm not in accounting, but the type of work I do in software and data and all this type of stuff, I have to be very involved with the process. I have to be very involved with the process. So it gets very busy for me. I rack up a whole bunch of overtime hours during this time of the month, every month. So, that's what my week has been. Are y'all good? Like, I don't have that many topics today, but the topics that I do have, they could get lengthy. We have a wars brewing right now. I didn't talk about it last week. I probably should have. But I think I needed to sit with it a little bit. I just needed to figure out what in the world was happening. I don't really like to see countries attacked for no reason, especially countries that really ain't doing anything to us as Americans. It sucks to even to me. We'll get into it. The Middle East still being a target after all these years, man. We'll get into it. Man, I hope y'all don't mind. Real quick, let me be a little tiny bit vulnerable real quick, right? Because y'all are my therapist right now. I'm no longer going to formal therapy, but it's not due to any fault of my therapist. Shout out to my therapist, Chris. If you kept up with my podcast, shout out to you. Shout out to Chris. It is not his fault at all. I just needed some time. Okay. When you go decades suppressing emotions and stuff like that, when you finally start exploring it after decades, it can get overwhelming. Okay. So I had to put the brakes on it, but I still remember all my lessons. Okay. Still remember everything that I was given as task to get better and improve. So it didn't go in vain. Now, sometimes, man, let's be vulnerable real quick before I get into my topics. I really sit and feel like, man, it is crazy for my life to be what it is right now. And I don't really live a crazy life, but just going by how it started, how my life started, how my story started, it just feels crazy sometimes. I be thinking about it. I'm like, wow, this could have not been like this at all. You see what I'm saying? I did so much stuff. I made some terrible decisions. I made some good decisions too that helped me get to where I'm at. But some of the bad decisions I made could have got me somewhere completely different. And I just think about it like, dang. I just feel like I just need to shout people out that just help me along the way, because without the support system that I had throughout the years, man, it would have been ugly, man. So I just feel like, because I got imposter syndrome so bad, it always feel like, man, this shit about to get snatched. This is never going to last. Like, that's how I feel sometimes. So I just wanted to really shout out some people real quick before I even get started. I want to shout out my mom where it started at, right? Shout out my mom, dad, Roger, Tiffany, my grandma, my aunt, Mike, my Uncle Ty, my siblings, all my siblings, shout out to y'all. That's the family side of it. They all supported me. Of course, my mom raised me. My mom and Roger really kind of raised me. But I gotta shout them out first, because that's like the foundation. And I know that if it wasn't for like the wild poverty and the crazy job markets, and I'm sure stuff would have been a lot better. But like, you know, for y'all to know where we come from, Youngstown, Northeast Ohio, and it's like it's like a blue collar area, right? Heavy blue collar area. So people wasn't doing that well during like the 90s and the 2000s because a lot of the American steel mills was leaving. They was leaving America. So a lot of the times when, you know what I'm saying, my guardians, my mom and Roger be trying to work or whatever, it wouldn't be working out. They'd be getting laid off a lot, stuff like that. So it wouldn't work out a lot. They would get laid off a lot. So it added a lot of strain to my childhood. Whereas when things was good, they felt good, but they didn't last that long. So things got bad and bad and bad. But shout out to them. Shout out my mom. I know people think like, yeah, I mean, when I talked about the teacher situation, it looked bad on my mom. I don't think it looked bad on my mom. It's just a hindsight 2020 type of thing. But, you know, I got to give a shout out to her for raising me. But a lot of the stuff that helped me get away from that situation and to realize things in life that, you know, I didn't really think was possible early in my life was really being able to navigate through friendships. You see what I'm saying? Like when my family couldn't do certain things for me, I always had friends that stepped in and helped me out. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like I've probably always been good with picking people and choosing personalities to be around. And I wasn't looking for friends so they could help me. These are just people I was organically attaching with, and they just so happened to love me enough to just help me out. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I got to shout them out too. And I got to start with my man Ant and his family. They took me in, right? And his family, they took me in. I'm going to love them forever. Miss Vanessa, his dad, they took me in since, I don't even know why, but they did. And I got to shout them out. My man Zeke, you already know what that is. Dennis, you all know what that is. You know, my guys Aaron and Justin. The reason that I wanted to shout my people out is because lately I've been feeling real morbid and stuff like that. But then I had to really think I've had such a strong support system throughout the years. And I don't know if they know that I don't take it for granted. So I just feel like I just need to do this right now. So bear with me because I just feel like I got to. Right. So I said there's my three foundational friends would be Ant, Zeke, Dennis, right? Justin, Aaron, right? And as I start getting older, you know what I'm saying, I get more closer friends and stuff like that. And when I get into the military, you know, me and Stan, when we first got out of boot camp, we was inseparable. He probably only it was such a short time, but at that time it was that. Then after that, well, you know, my homeboy Lamont, I knew him in Youngstown, and he came to the Navy. Me and we got real close when we worked together in high school, and he held me down a lot. You see what I'm saying? Took care of my car when I was down bad. You see what I'm saying? Deech, you understand? My man Jay, shout out to Jay. Jay came and visited me. I ain't asked him to. I didn't know he was doing that. He just showed up one day. My dog Jay, he always supported me, always held me down. I tried to support him as much as I could. You know what I'm saying? But that's my guy, my man OG. Always supported. Always supported. Always support. I try to always support him. These are people that if they, you know what I'm saying, they didn't have to support me. Nobody ever had to support me. I'm going to support them if I can. It just so happened that these people I'm naming always supported. You know what I'm saying? Not just on some buy some clothes if I'm selling clothes or not. It's just whatever, anything. You see what I'm saying? If I'm like, hey, I got something going on. You want to slide through? They come and they support. You see what I'm saying? My dog Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Kobe. That was a period of time, and we had a good time. You know what I'm saying? My bros, D. B. Mass, held me down when the time was right. Like I said, all these people I'm naming, it's a two-way street. We support each other. They support me. You know what I'm saying? D. set me straight one time. I'm going to tell you. Let me just tell you this quick story, y'all. And listen, like I said, I'm being vulnerable, so just let me ramble. Let me ramble before I get into my topics, okay? One time I did some craziness drunk, right? I'm drunk. A lot of the people I just named was at my house when I did this, right? I did some foolishness. Then I'm doing what people who self-sabotage do. I'm trying to have a pity party for myself the next day. I hit everybody up. I said, man, listen, if y'all don't want to talk to me no more, I understand. I get it. Just leave me to myself. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I sent that message at probably like 5, 6, 7 in the morning on a Saturday morning after a night full of drinking. D. called me and said, bro, we is not doing that. I'm not letting you just go act like you feel sorry for yourself. I'm not letting you do that. You need to take accountability for what you did and just get better. Don't do all that acting like you're going to push everybody away thing. We're not doing that. He called me at like 7 in the morning and said that after I was completely tripping the night before that. Right. And when I sent the message out to everybody, he was the only one that responded. He was like, bro, we not doing that. That's not like, come on. Cause he had, this is funny. One of his relationship, he was in a relationship with a girl whose birthday is on the same day as mine. What he said was, he was pretty much like, yo, I'm not doing that. She used to do this all the time. I'm not letting you do that. That's what he told me. He said, I'm not letting you do that. Stop it. And I had to shake myself off, get it together, and just apologize to everybody and keep it moving. And I'm still cool with everybody who was around for that. So shout out to D. Shout out to B. Mass. These are eras and periods in my life, right? To keep it going. Now, pretty much after a while, I pretty much stopped making friends, but not yet, right? So we got that era. You know what I mean? So all of that type of stuff. I start getting cool with my man Glover towards the end, you know. And then comes the period after that where I start getting tapped in with a different crowd. My man Red Gold, Truth, Black Sun, Prince, Paul Taylor. These guys, Big Greg from Changing Lanes, that era right there. You know what I'm saying? All of these people poured into me or supported me when, you know, I really didn't. This is a lot of black men that was showing me love when I was, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't knowing how important it was to feel that. But it's important for me to say this right now because I've been feeling very, very, very weird the last 2 months, right? But these people never stopped supporting me, sending me kind words, just everything. I'm talking about up until this day. All of these people still send me good words and show me support and love and all that, whether I seen them recently or whether I spoke to them recently. All these people still show me so much love, and it's important for me to, you know what I'm saying, acknowledge it. This is a long rant, and y'all probably don't know why I'm doing it, but I just feel like I need to. That's why I'm doing it. Okay? This is like, sometimes I don't feel like I should be here. So when I get these moments where I'm like, man, I just got to thank people, I do it. I need to do it on the spot because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. You see what I'm saying? So I think I probably got the best group of friends, and I haven't made a friend in a long time, but probably got the best friends, just period. Probably got the best friends that you could have. And they've been very tolerant with me. Because when I say I've been through some dark times, they've been dark. You understand what I'm saying? They've been dark. Y'all see the version of me now that I put on the podcast. I really don't talk personal at all on the podcast. There's a reason for that. It's a reason I keep it about these topics and these, you know what I'm saying, learning and reading and stuff. I keep it like that for a reason. Because, you know, a lot of my history, I can't relate to the stuff I'm into now. the things that what it used to be. And it's not just my behavior, my old behavior. I'm saying the way my mind used to work back in the day, it's just completely different now. So I just need to make sure that whenever I feel the way I feel now, which has been weird, and shout out, because I was telling somebody that I was feeling weird, and they gave me some guidance, and I appreciate them. They gave me guidance and kind of woke me up a little bit and let me know it wasn't what I was thinking. I was thinking real morbid. I was thinking real morbidly, right? So for those of you that didn't understand anything about what I was just saying, cool. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But let me throw my Uncle Tubby in there too. Because when I was naming my family, I didn't say my uncle's name. I said my uncle, but I was talking about my Uncle Ty. Let me add my Uncle Tubby and Leanne in there too. They definitely looked out for me too. And they put me on my first plane ride ever. Can never forget that. But this is something that I just felt like I need to say. Like I said, I don't really get too personal on here, but this is something that I needed to just throw out there. You know what I'm saying? I just needed to. So much falls on my shoulders, and so much has always fell on my shoulders. Just trying to being worried about people all the time, because I feel like if something was to happen to one of my people, I would feel like it would fall on me, especially because I used to be getting into stuff all the time. Not getting into, let me not say it like that. I wasn't always getting into stuff, but most of the time, if people had a problem with somebody in my circle, they probably had a problem with me. So I just had to, you had to make sure you keep people alive when you navigate the streets and all this type of stuff. Or when you're moving around where there's people that'll kill you. There was people that might have wanted to kill me at different times, and I had to make sure that not only I didn't die, that the people around, I can't let nobody kill none of my people either. So it's the word ain't survivor's remorse. It just really feels like it's like surreal, like imposter syndrome. You see what I'm saying? And now when I look around, I'm like, I have huge goals, big goals. But when I see my kids and when I talk to my kids, they are legit suburban nerds. I feel accomplished. I feel like I won, because my kids they wouldn't be able to understand if I told them about some of the stuff that I was doing. It wouldn't make sense to them because they know me today. And I'm proud of that. You see what I'm saying? It's amazing to me how my kids could be versus what we was on doing and running around doing in Youngstown. You see what I'm saying? And what I was running around Virginia doing. And even still a little bit of Pennsylvania, running around there doing. So the fact that I got these little nerdy, geeky, funny, goofy, smart, suburban kids that grow up in a swim tennis community, I feel like I won already. So I feel like I could give this like shout out to all these people that helped me get to where I'm at, because I feel confident that my kids are going to take this thing way further than I can take it. You see what I'm saying? I've been thinking about that type of stuff a lot lately. Right? So I appreciate y'all for letting me vent just now. Right? I just feel like I don't talk about myself a lot. I don't talk about my family a lot. I don't talk about my friends a lot. But, just going through old pictures, old videos, it's just, and like I said, people contacted me lately, I think I got the best friend group that a person could ever really ask for. Right. And I'm really going to get into some more old stuff, because we're going to talk about this Israel versus Iran thing, or Iran thing. And y'all, some of y'all might know I spent a little bit of time in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, and I kind of seen this formula before, and it's nasty. The only thing is Afghanistan didn't have the military structure that Iran has. So they couldn't fight back like that. And plus, we weren't fighting against Afghanistan, the country. We were fighting against a local gang, Al-Qaeda, in Afghanistan. So let's transition that right into right into transition that right into the discussion about Iran and Israel. Real quick, let me say something real quick. I didn't forget any names, right? Let me shout my cousins out too. Janess, Jaja, Justice, Journey. Journey's a baby. He wasn't around for a lot of this stuff, but my cousins too. I told y'all a story about how Janess stopped some people from jumping me in the club in 2010 or whatever the hell. Let me shout them out too. So I'm not forgetting anybody. Dominique also helped a lot during a 3-4 year period. Some of the people that I didn't say their name from like high school and forward is really because I don't want no I don't want no problems, right? Everybody whose name I said is clean cut. It's not going to cause any problems. Okay, if there's some names that I didn't say, it's because it's just to not cause problems. Everybody out there who know that I love them and that they love me, it's always going to be love and all that type of stuff. That's just going to be what it's going to be, right? But, shout out to y'all forever. But I didn't say your name for a reason. But it still is what it is. We locked in. Let's read about Iran. I appreciate everybody who made it 20 minutes into my rant about my family and my loved ones and all that. I appreciate y'all. Let's read, man. I'm going to Al Jazeera because I learned that Al Jazeera was a good news source when I was stationed in Afghanistan, because that was our main source of news. Like internationally, they're big. They're huge. Like bigger than the stuff we watch here in America, way bigger, and they cover globally everything, right? They cover everything as if they're in that country because they have representatives and they have journalists all over the world. So Al Jazeera is a great source of information, just if you just want the raw story. It says Iran fires more missiles, drones across Gulf region and U.S.-Israel attacks. You see that image right there? So like technically this is not a war. These countries are just, certain things have to happen for it to be classified as a war. Right now, they're just bombing each other, essentially. I don't know why it's not classified, but it's not classified yet. Okay, let's read. And this comes from yesterday, March 5th. Al Jazeera staff, Gulf countries remain on high alert as Iran has launched several waves of drone and missile strikes across the region in response to continued attacks by the United States and Israel. Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE face a barrage of Iranian attacks late on Tuesday, with the Kuwaiti Army's general staff saying in a social media post that the air defenses were intercepting projectiles in the country's airspace. Okay. Earlier in the day, Qatar's Ministry of Defense said the country was targeted in several attacks, including 14 ballistic missiles and four drones coming from Iran. Iran initially began striking U.S. military assets in the Gulf region, but later expanded to include civilian installations after the U.S. and Israel launched a war against the country on Saturday, killing at least 1,230 people to date, according to the latest figures cited by Iranian state media. Y'all killed 1,200 people? Why are they not saying this? This is the crazy part about it, right? If a country like Iran bombs, let's just say they bomb some country in their area, in that surrounding area, right? If civilians are killed, that will be in the headline, right? That'll be in the headline. This country kills this many civilians. American Israel killed 1,230 people in Iran, yet they're not using the word civilian to describe these people. There's no way y'all think that these people killed 1,200 military people in a few strikes. There's of that 1,200, 700 of them are probably civilians. Okay, that's crazy. All right. Iran's attacks have increasingly targeted energy infrastructure, have killed at least 6 U.S. service members, as well as 11 people in Israel and 3 others in the UAE. Like, look what we compare. We're comparing 1,230 people to, let's see, that's 17. Come on, 20 people. 20 people on U.S. and Israel side versus 1,200 people. Like, this is not a war. Oil and gas prices have soared as tankers. So what this tells me is America and Israel are attacking any target they can get within reach. They're hitting civilians, they're hitting anything because they're just trying to kill the most people they can kill. Iran is attacking specific targets, military installations or military outposts. If they only kill 20 people, that means they are not just indiscriminately bombing these countries, right? 1,200 people in a few days means that America is indiscriminately bombing that country. They're killing whoever they can kill, that's who they're killing. Okay, oil and gas prices have soared as tankers stuck near the Strait of Hormuz, I don't know how to pronounce that, amid attacks on ships passing through one of the most important waterways in the world. Some 20% of the world's crude passes through the strait. That's a lot of crude oil. We know at least 131 drones were sent earlier in the day into the UAE and at least 6 ballistic missiles, Khan said. Okay. The UAE has really had its air defense systems put to the test by the continuous volley, especially drones, but also ballistic and cruise missiles continually hitting the country in the past 6 days. Meanwhile, in Bahrain, the country's main oil refinery was hit in an Iranian missile strike, sparking a fire that was quickly brought under control, local authorities said. Officials said no injuries were reported at the Bapco energy facilities in the island of Sitra, and operations were continuing as the extent of the damage was under review. Arab Gulf leaders have condemned Iran's strikes as a violation of international law, saying in a joint statement with the U.S. this week that they reaffirmed their right to self-defense in the face of these attacks. Meanwhile, the U.S., which has pleaded to continue its military assault on Iran, has suspended services on some diplomatic missions in the region that have come under attack in recent days, saying including in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. On Thursday, the U.S. Department of State announced it was suspending operations at its embassy in Kuwait City amid the war. Listen, This is not a joke. I'm going to be real. I have been seeing some black people in America and some black Americans specifically putting it out there to the world via social media that we, the black delegation, have nothing to do with what our American government and American military is doing to support Israel as they attack Iran. This is what I want to say. I fully agree. We, the black delegation, have absolutely nothing to do with what these white people got going on in D.C. and otherwise. We do not agree with it. We don't stand with it. My literal first name, my government name, is the capital of Iran. I'm not joking at all. On my birth certificate, I was named after the city that is the capital of Iran. That's not even a joke. We do not support what these people are doing to Iran. When y'all get the bombing and blowing stuff up, listen, what y'all want to do is avoid cities like Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh, all the cities in North Carolina, the 757 in Virginia, Richmond, D.C. Avoid these cities, avoid Philly, avoid everything in Alabama, everything in Mississippi, everything in Louisiana, avoid Houston, Dallas, the whole surrounding DFW, right? Avoid Memphis, please. Avoid Cleveland, Columbus, Youngstown, Cincinnati. Avoid half of Pittsburgh. You understand? Please avoid the southern and western part of Chicago, some of the east side. Please avoid St. Louis, Missouri. Please avoid all the surrounding area of St. Louis. Please avoid Kansas City. Please avoid about a third of Milwaukee. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking to the Iranians. All the other people don't even pay attention to what I'm saying right now. Listen to me. Avoid what's west of please avoid Little Rock, Arkansas. Please avoid, certain parts of, certain neighborhoods in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Where else we talking about? I got family in Vegas, so please avoid certain parts of Vegas. I know they got big military base out there. I'm just naming the places that I want you to avoid Iran. If you get, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, we support, there's a lot of black people in America observing Ramadan right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't agree with some of the militaristic styles of governing that the white leadership, Republicans and Democrats, have taken on in this country. We have never agreed with it. We never liked it. Remember, there were black people going to jail and prison to avoid going to fight other people in Asia that we just didn't feel like were our enemy. You see what I'm saying? There were, like, black people in America specifically have been loud and vocal and standing strong against what our country does to other countries. So y'all don't even have to y'all don't have to question. When y'all come here to do y'all little covert missions, I said overt, but I meant covert. When you see do y'all little covert missions, find where Turning Point USA operates and their little minions. Okay, it's places like that. Okay, places that have made it like a de facto thing that black people can't live here. Find all the sundown towns. You see what I'm saying? Also, add Charleston, South Carolina to that list. Do not touch that. Savannah, don't touch it. Whole surrounding, the whole low country, leave it alone, right? Columbia too. So yeah, I think that we deserve a break. Okay. Yes, some of us have gone into the military, fought in some of these wars, but we didn't do it because we wanted to fight against these other countries. We needed a job. Okay. Black people joined the military for the most part because we want a job. We are not looking to fight against other people on behalf of the America regime. I always have said this. America is the Fourth Reich. Okay. This is I seen people comparing it to the last Airbender. Which nation is this? This is the Fire Nation. I think it's worse than the Fire Nation. Okay. I think America is like, remember when Kavira took over during the part of Avatar when it was like the Legend of Korra, that saga? America's like Kavira. Okay. It's worse than the Fire Nation. So please, leave us out of whatever y'all got planned. I'm gonna tell you a story, right? No, I'm not even gonna say that. But leave us out of whatever you got planned. I've seen what these wars can do to countries. I actually have some images from Afghanistan of what the palace in Afghanistan looked like after these wars were fought in these countries. I think a lot of people are making jokes about it because they don't realize what it's like for a war to be fought inside your country. It's really not a game at all. Americans, we haven't dealt with a war inside of our country since, I guess if you want to, like, World War II spilled over into America with Pearl Harbor. But for the most part, a war actually being fought here hasn't happened since the Civil War, right? So none of us know that are alive today. None of us know what it's like for a war to take place in your country and have it just destroy it. Only the immigrants know about that. The immigrants have dealt with that. People who immigrated to America from these places that are war torn, they know about it. Americans know nothing about it. This picture that I have on the screen, this is the Queen's Palace, right? I actually took this picture myself, but these are just images showing these beautiful structures that have been destroyed by war. They survived. They're still standing, but they're essentially unusable because they have been shot to hell. Right? That's just this is the hallway here, right? Massive. This is a palace. This right here was considered the Queen's Palace. So in Afghanistan, they had a King's Palace and a Queen's Palace. But the King's Palace was more like a government building. Just think more of like City Hall would have been the King's Palace, but it was massive. And then the Queen's Palace would have been where the king and queen and the family lived at. So just think about it like that. That's how they did it in Afghanistan. And I was in the capital city, Kabul, Afghanistan. Look, they had an elevator shaft. This is the result of the war that was fought in the 80s out there in Afghanistan. This building This structure was already destroyed by the time America invaded them in 2001, 2, 3, 4, and all that. It was already destroyed. They did this back when Russia and America was fighting over there in the 80s, right? A lot of people don't realize that America and Russia pretty much fought a war in Afghanistan against each other. They called it a Cold War, but they were actually warring there as, it was like a quiet war going on, right? The whole thing is covered in barbed wire now. This is what it looks like to have an occupied country. Americans don't know what it's like to have a country be occupied by foreign soldiers and stuff like that. The way, because when I was over there, the way that we had to move through these people's country, I was like, this makes no sense to me. This is not a war. When you read about war, you think, okay, this country is fighting against this country. But that's not what was happening in Afghanistan. Their government was, quote unquote, on our side. So we essentially just occupied their country so that we could fight against a local gang or a local group inside that country. We didn't say, hey, Afghanistan, we demand that you get these people who supposedly attacked us. We occupied their country, destroyed everything, and attacked the people we wanted to attack. I'm saying we because I was in the military, but it was disgusting. Right? Americans, we don't know what it's like to live in a country that has been occupied. And if it happens, I think they will blow this. I think they'll blow America up before they let another country take over. When I say they, I mean our government. Our government, the way it is now and how much power they have now, by the time somebody else gets powerful enough to get here, they will have blown everything up already by then, the whole world. They would have blown the whole world up by that point. So we'll never know what it's like to have a country be occupied anymore at this point forward. And the reason being is because America's not going to go for it. The American government. Military is too powerful. Let me play a video real quick. Nah, I'm not even going to play the video. It was just a video inside. I'll play it. Some people might never get to see something like this. Excuse me. This is going to be a video of the Queen's Palace, but inside like the roof. This is inside the roof area. Let me see. Right. So I was up in the attic area. You can see that parts of the roof, huge parts of the roof are missing because this thing, it was destroyed and left like this for decades, really. This is inside the attic of the Queen's Palace in Afghanistan in 2010. This is what it looked like. Right, you see all that rubber, they just blow the roof off. I'm looking out the roof right here, out at the mountains. Yeah, I'm tired too. What the hell? Right. So if you make jokes about, what's going on over there, I'm not saying say what you got to say, right? I'm just letting you know what's going on is not a pretty sight. It's not a game. They're not playing, right? When they get this dropping these bombs are meant to destroy everything in the circumference of it, right? Of course, that's what what a bomb is, right? So it's not a video game. This is serious shit. When they talk about, they started bombing them like last week and 1,200 people are already dead. Think about how many people 1,200 is, right? Versus Iran trying to fight back and they killed 20. 20 people versus 1,200 people. This is not a war. This is another just instance of America attacking somebody on behalf of Israel. It's sick, man. It's really sick. American soldiers have died in the Middle East already. Weren't even at war. They just chilling in one of these allied countries in Kuwait or whatever. I think they were in Kuwait or Bahrain, one of those two. Those are supposed to be some of the most peaceful countries on the planet. Kuwait, Bahrain is where when we were in Afghanistan, when you did 6 months, it's like a year tour, right? You would do 6 months and you would take a vacation from Afghanistan by going to either Qatar or Bahrain. These places are extremely peaceful. They were supposed to be. And now look, they're getting bombed now because America is bombing Iran Only thing Iran could do is bomb the closest American allies. So that's what they started doing, right? They started bombing Israel. They started bombing Qatar. They started bombing Kuwait, started bombing Bahrain. That's the only thing they could do. And in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, right? So I don't know, man. They need to get it together. They need to get it together. Now, in a more lighthearted story, I saw a post, right? And the post said, let me find it, because this was crazy to me. I never thought about this. The post said, Keisha is crazy to. I still find it crazy that Keisha Cole never received one BET award in R&B. I know this is a hard pivot, but it was funny because I seen it on Twitter and I'm like, wow, that's crazy to me. But then I saw this quote retweet and it said, her commercial peak just happened in an era where Beyonce, Sierra, Mary, and Alicia, as far as female contemporary R&B, and Mariah to an extent. And that's just the women, right? She had to deal with Usher, Chris Brown, Tyrese, the groups, B2K, the Pretty Ricky was around. Like Keisha Cole fought in a crazy, crazy time period. And that happens to a lot of people. There's some people that come out and they're great, but they just are at the wrong time, right? And people who know me personally know how much I love Alicia Keys. I used to think that Alicia Keys was going to be my woman, okay? When I was about 15, 16, you couldn't tell me nothing about that yellow bone right there with the red hair. You understand? I thought she was going to wait on me. I thought she was going to wait for me to get older so I could make her mine. She didn't wait, though. You understand? But Keisha Cole is one of them ones, okay, to me. However, this person, what does that say? Skylar897, Wakanda tech support? That's funny. They are spot on. Alicia played in a league with LeBron, Kobe. Like, imagine playing when LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Jordan, all in their prime. Because like he said, Mariah was still releasing music during her career. Brandy was still releasing music during her career. Monica was still releasing music. Whitney Houston has some music in the 2000s, right? Ashanti, they didn't even name Ashanti. Ashanti was a juggernaut in the early 2000s. Like, that's not to mention all the people like a tier lower than them that had one hit that was massive. You see what I'm saying? So Keisha Cole fought in a crazy era. You know, you talk about and Destiny's Child going solo. So Kelly Rowland was around. And like I said, that's just the women. There's a bunch of men too that, man, she had to fight in a, but for her to never have won a BET award in R&B, that is kind of baffling to me. But man, wow. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what y'all think about Keisha Cole. Also, let me know what you think about the Iran versus Israel story. It's disgusting, and we don't really want to think about it, but I still do want y'all to think about it. Also, let's go back. Let me know what y'all think about me and my imposter syndrome, having to thank all my family because I feel crazy. You understand? Now, we're already 44 minutes in. That's crazy. I want to do something because it's Women's History Month. And last month we did some Black History Month stuff. So it's only right we do Women's History Month. Excuse me. It's only right we discuss Women's History Month. There are Black women in the world. So if I'm going to do Women's History Month, I might as well make it about Black women. Why wouldn't I? And let's start out with a legend. One that I just found out about because my mom portrayed her in a Black History Month program. She was born Rose Sanders, but she changed her name. Let's read about her. Tafaya Oro Rose Touré. Let's read about this young lady. She's a beast. And I'm actually going to play the video of my mom portraying her because I think it's a great rendition. I think it's a great portrayal. And people, at least one person that knew her said it was spot on. So I think it's only right. But let's read her bio real quick. Let's see. Faya Ora Rose Toure is a civil rights activist, civil rights attorney, and education activist based in Selma, Dallas County. She's in Alabama. So the reason they didn't say Selma, Alabama is because this page is the encyclopedia of Alabama. So they just assume everybody knows that this is Alabama history. Previously known under the name Rose Sanders, she changed her name in 2002, considering it her enslaved name. She took the name Toure in honor of Guinea's first president, Ahmad Sekou Toure. Toure became Alabama's first black woman judge in 1973. She has been a polarizing figure in Selma, with some new outlets portraying her as a heroic civil rights leader who has greatly improved the lives of black people in Alabama, while other media sources consider her a troublemaker and agitator. Good. She should be a troublemaker and agitator. Born Rose M. Gaines on May 20th, 1945 in Salisbury, North Carolina, to Damon A. Gaines, a minister, and Ora Lee Gaines, she was one of 6 children. I like that she took her mom's name when she renamed herself. She graduated summa cum laude from Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina in 1966. In 1969, she graduated from Harvard Law School, where she won the Herbert Smith Fellowship. In 1970, she married Henry Hank Sanders, who also graduated from Harvard Law School. Together, they have 3 children and raised 4 foster children. So first of all, husband and wife, both black, graduated from Harvard Law School. We're dealing with some super Negroes here. Let's just be clear. These are not regular people. They're not regular in any racial group, but these are not regular people. Baldwin County native Hank Sanders would serve in the Alabama Senate from 1983 to 2018. He had a long run and was succeeded by daughter Malika Sanders Fortier. Wow, so his daughter took over after he was done. It's crazy. Not just take over, but when you succeeded, she was elected. After Toure and Sanders graduated from Harvard Law School, the couple moved to Nigeria for a year before moving to Huntsville, Madison County, where they both worked as lawyers. Shortly thereafter, Toure wanted to move to Harlem, New York, but at her husband's prompting, they instead moved to Selma to help combat racial injustice in that city. In the ensuing decades, the couple would feature prominently in Selma's politics, with both working as attorneys and playing a leading role in local movements. In addition to her legal career in local activism, Toure was elected as a judge for Selma's municipal court in 1973, thereby becoming the first black woman judge in Alabama. She served until 1977. In 1972, while still known as Rose Sanders, she and Hank joined J.L. Chestnut as partners in the Selma-based law firm Chestnut, Sanders, Pettaway, and Campbell, LLC, which became Alabama's largest black law firm. Toure soon became known for her outspoken views. The firm secured a court-ordered legislative redistricting in 1983. The newly drawn map helped secure more black representation in Alabama's legislature, including the election of Hank Sanders to the Alabama Senate that same year. The firm's most famous legal cases were the class action lawsuit Pickford v. Glickman and the subsequent case Pickford v. Veneman. Now, this is one of the things that made her super stand out to me while my mom was doing the portrayal or the monologue of her. When she yelled out this Pickford thing, right, that shocked me because now I'm annoyed with myself that I didn't know about her. Y'all have heard me talk about black farmers many times if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, right? She was the lawyer that helped the black farmers sue the USDA and win over $1 billion. Her and her law firm. The fact that I did so much research on the black farmers' fight to get their land and resources back, or get their resources to help them, stay in business. The fact that I did so much research on that case and those cases and the payouts and the outcomes and things like that, and I never took the time to research the lawyers behind it, shame on me. Shame on me, but it's Women's History Month, coming right off of Black History Month, and Rose Toure, or Rose Sanders at the time, and her husband Hank Sanders were part of a law firm that helped bring some justice to those black farmers. I told y'all about a study that was done a long time. I told y'all some years ago about a study that was done by Dr. Dania Francis and her team that showed that black farmers since 1910 up until 1993 have lost $326 billion worth of assets when they lost farmland over that period of time, right? So losing farmland from 1910 to 1993 amounted to a total of $326 billion in losses for black farmers. Okay. So these black women they really put their money where their mouth was when it came to trying to help black farmers. And I super respect it. I'm just annoyed with myself that I didn't know about this. I knew about Pigford versus Glickman. And that's Pigford 1, and then it's considered Pigford 2, the next one, Pigford versus Veneman. Heard in the U.S. District Court, let's put it back up here. Heard in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, the attorneys proved that the U.S. Department of Agriculture, that's USDA, then led by Dan Glickman and later by Ann Veneman, repeatedly denied loans and other forms of assistance to Timothy Pigford and other black farmers in North Carolina and gave preferential treatment to white farmers, causing many black farmers to lose their land and livelihood. The Pigford cases resulted in more than $1 billion in damages being awarded to thousands of black farmers and their heirs, most of whom received payments of $50,000 each. In 1991, Touré and Marie Foster created the National Voting Rights Museum and Institution in Selma. Located adjacent to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the museum opened to the public in 1993. The museum chronicles the civil rights struggle in Alabama and honors the heroes who made great personal sacrifices so that black citizens could gain the right to vote and strive towards equality. It features exhibits dedicated to Selma's civil rights history, Reconstruction, women's suffrage, President Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson, Jim Clark, the notorious sheriff known for his role in Bloody Sunday, and the mass incarceration of black Americans. In 2001, Touré was threatened with arrest during the Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade for trying to topple the bust of Confederate General and Ku Klux Klan founder Nathan Bedford Forrest. The bust had been unveiled in 2000. Now, just imagine, how do you put, not how, but of course they did it because they were racist, but putting a monument of a Confederate general up in the year 2000? It wasn't like this statue was from the 1890s or something like that. They put it up in the 2000s. Are they high? She claimed that the bust housed outside of Von Smitherman Museum and located in a black neighborhood was offensive and that monument should honor activists who fought for voting rights, not KKK members. She told her supporters to tie a rope around the bust to topple it, cautioning them to avoid the bust's neck to avoid simulating a lynching. The rope broke and the bust was not destroyed. It was later placed in Selma's Old Live Oak Cemetery. Touré periodically removes Confederate flags at this cemetery. Touré was arrested on July 16, 2018 for stealing campaign signs supporting county probate candidate Nicholas Switzer and leading the police on a 4-block chase. She was charged with fourth-degree theft and eluding the police. The media coverage of this incident was noteworthy because it demonstrated the widespread disparity in reporting depending on the outlet. Sources differed on the number of officers present at Touré's arrest, with one source citing only one officer and another citing 7. And they differed on the characterization of her motives and behavior. Touré sued the city of Selma, Police Chief Spencer Collier, and Officer Devin McGuire for $4 million for assault and battery, false arrest, unlawful imprisonment, and other charges. The Alabama Supreme Court ruled against her. Throughout her career, Touré has been a dedicated education activist working to improve public education in Selma. When District Superintendent Norwood Russell was ousted by the white majority school board in December 1989 for his efforts to reform the leveling system that often placed black and white students on separate and unequal academic paths, she led community members on mass demonstrations and a boycott of public schools. Protest events included a student occupation of Selma High School cafeteria and a 6-week encampment outside of Selma City Hall that only ended when a judge ruled that the protest was interfering with city government. Okay, this lady has a story life. In addition to her activism, Touré was also a playwright and songwriter, creating music such as a gospel song, I'm Gonna Lift My Sister Up. She has written more than 40 musicals with her work addressing such topics as teen pregnancy, AIDS, and drug use. They have been performed in such venues as Selma's Carl C. Morgan Convention Center. Okay, this lady is a super legend, okay? Super legend. I'm very surprised. I'm not surprised because there's a lot of legends out here, but the fact that we have she's essentially a civil rights icon living still right now, and her name is not talked about all over the place. I'm a little bit blown by it. Let me go ahead and play the joint of my mom portraying this young lady, because I think she did a great job. Let me find this jank. Shout out to Jaja too. Jaja did a cold job playing. My cousin Jaja did a great job portraying Fannie Lou Hamer too. She bodied it. Give me a second. Give me a second to get it back. Young Chris need what? Okay, here we go. Let's get to it.
Next we honor Faya Rose Touré, a trailblazing attorney and activist whose tireless fight for justice continues to inspire. Please join me as we present a monologue celebrating her remarkable legacy.
My name is Faya Rose Touré. I was born Rose Sanders in the segregated South, raised in a time where blacks were told to stay small, stay silent, and stay in their place. God placed something else in me, a fire for truth, a hunger for justice, and a knowing deep in my spirit that silence was never an option. I was educated at the HBCU, Johnson C. Smith University. Earned a law degree from Harvard, both summa cum laude. Not for applause, though, for assignment. When my education was complete, I didn't go searching for ease. I went back to the struggle. In 1973, I became the first black woman judge in the state of Alabama. Not for that title, but for purpose. As an attorney, I fought some of the most consequential civil rights cases in American history, most notably the Pickford cases. My colleagues and I won over $1 billion for black farmers who were systematically denied land, loans, and dignity. They were pushed off their soil, locked out of opportunity, and left unheard. I would not stand by and do nothing. In 1983, I helped redraw the legislative maps in Alabama, securing greater black representation. Because democracy without representation is not democracy at all. My journey hasn't been quiet. It sure wasn't comfortable. And yes, I've even been arrested a few times along the way. One time, they placed a monument honoring a Confederate general and Ku Klux Klan founder in a black neighborhood in Selma. I did not accept that. I stood against it. I resisted. And while it did not fall that day, it no longer stands there now. I have marched. I have protested. I spoke truth to power when it was uncomfortable and dangerous. Today I stand as a reminder that blacks everywhere in every generation must decide, There was a resistance that led to the creation of the National Voting Rights Museum in Selma so that our children would know freedom was not given. It was fought for. It was paid for by ordinary people like you and you who chose to stand. Courage is contagious. Will you be silent, or will you stand? I choose to stand, and I pray you will too.
Yeah, she bodied that, man. She bodied that. Shout out to my mom. She killed that. I think that everybody needs to be looking up Rose Sanders, aka Faya Ora Rose Touré. Okay, this lady was no joke. Her resume is lengthy. She is still alive right now. Actually, funny enough, she made my mom a video when she found out that my mom would be portraying her.
Corona, I'm so proud of you. Not because you're portraying me, a woman almost 81 years old, who tried to do her best but often failed. But thank God there were some successes. But my proudest accomplishment is not because I was the first black female judge in Alabama. My proudest accomplishment is that God imbued with me the purpose to serve, a purpose-driven life. I cannot take credit for it. Going back to my parents and the way I was raised in the segregated South. But along the way, I met amazing people, including people like Judge Washington, a young man that came into my slave cell along with a lot of other young people. I not only gave to them, but they gave to me their hope and inspiration and the motivation to keep struggling for human rights and voting rights, civil rights. I've had the opportunity to be in a space and time, Selma, Alabama, which is historic. But before I came here, I was raised in a small town in Greenville, Tennessee, 1% black. But I had parents who inspired and gave me.
Hold on. We're going to keep the rest of that tucked in. Uh-oh. What the hell? Oh, we're going to keep the rest of that tucked in. That's a super exclusive. That's a super exclusive. It's crazy because she said she was raised in Greenville, Tennessee. That little joint had her coming up out of North Carolina, so they might want to figure that out. They might want to get that figured out because the young lady said she was from somewhere else. Okay. Excuse me. I'm not going to take any more of your time. Please make sure y'all support Women's History Month. You know what I mean? Me personally, because of the culture I come from, I'm going to be making this Black Women's History Month largely Black American Women's History Month. However, you make sure you support some woman somewhere during this month and make sure you tell a good story about what they have done throughout history or even what they're doing right now. Okay. One of the CEOs of the company Waymo right now is a Black woman. So there's things going on still to this day that are worth discussing. Okay. Please make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment your thoughts below. The way that you win something in this raffle that I do or these raffles that I do is to do the survey in the description. Okay. So yes, shout out to the 4,500 subscribers. We love y'all, but YouTube does not give us a list of everybody. So I don't have a way to really track all the people. So I need you to do the survey so that I can get a better gauge of who's actually actively watching. You understand? So please hit the link for the survey in the description. Fill it out. It's completely free, but you fill it out. You just give a little bit of information. You say what you're interested in, what size shirt you wear, stuff like that. Okay. Please make sure y'all have a good rest of the weekend, all this type of stuff. I'll see y'all next week. I've been trying to get people to, come on and debate, but they shook to death, and it's okay. I would be scared too. But y'all make sure y'all have a good evening, man. I'm gone. Peace.